Most homes with a garden will have a small to medium-sized backyard or back garden, and that space has to fit lots of roles. It's a multi-purpose space. It's a place for you to hang out, to have barbecues, for the kids to play, for dogs to exercise, and also a place for you to garden, whether that is growing flowers or growing food. And so there's a lot of things going on in a relatively small space. But regardless, I think that a lot of people who want to grow their own will have space for 1 to 2 small raised beds where you can intensively crop lots of homegrown organic produce that you can use right through the summer. And so this year, I am really focusing on these 2 beds that I have here to show exactly how I would plant up the space to maximize yield, to get lots of a variety of crops coming through, and techniques for maximizing that vertical space as well. And so today I'm going to be starting off with the very first planting of the far bed and talking to you about how I've set up these beds, how I've filled them, and the plan going forward. I'm Tanya from Lovely Greens, and I share creative garden projects, organic gardening tips, and this year I am focusing on showing you how to grow food in a relatively small space. And so if you are not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Now let's get to all about this bed here behind me. This is a metal raised bed. It's called a birdie's bed. It is a modular unit. It arrives flat pack in a box. And my partner, Josh, and I built this in early 2023. It's relatively easy to assemble. It's screws holding it together. It's got a bit of a rubber lip on the top for safety. And it's at this very moment cheaper than buying and putting together a wooden raised bed. Now, inside this bed, there is a good mix that helps plants to grow. Success with raised bed gardening has much more to do with what you fill the beds with rather than what the beds are made out of. And getting this right from the very start of things is going to set you up for success for not only your first year growing, but for years down the road. We filled these beds in 2023, and they have a similar mix to what's inside the beds inside. And that is roughly 40% topsoil or garden soil, 40% compost, and 20% aeration materials. The tendency for a lot of people is to want to fill their raised beds with just soil from the garden. It's easy, it's cheap, it's free oftentimes, and filling it is pretty quick. But if you do that, what ends up happening is that you get a growing space that dries out very easily, that is leached of nutrients relatively quickly, and that you have a lot more challenges with growing. If you completely fill a bed like this with compost, which I have done in the past, you can also have high nutrients, but also it can get quite spongy and retain a bit too much water, especially in my climate. So having that good mix is really important. And when it comes to aeration materials, these are things like grit, vermiculite, coarse sand, perlite, things that are going to be aiding drainage, that are going to be creating air pockets within the soil that are going to be helpful for beneficial microbes, for soil life, and for plants to grow. You need quite a lot of material to fill a raised bed, and a standard one that's about 4 by 6, like these 2 birdies beds, fits about 850 liters of material, and so that is about 1.11 cubic yards. So it's quite a lot and quite a bit of an investment. But as I said before, that is a good investment and will set you up for success. After your first year of growing and using the original mix, there's only one thing that you really need to do, and that is to top up the surface with a good mulch of compost. And you do that once a year, and that is enough to keep your beds really fertile, really moisture retentive, and to keep bringing in the crops. And you don't have to dig it in. And I think this is where traditional methods and modern methods kind of come to heads, is that old-fashioned gardening, you dig the muck or the compost into the soil. But we know now that if you just lay it on the surface as a mulch, worms will bring it down into the soil, and on the surface, nutrients wash down, but it also creates a little bit of a crust on the top. And that helps to work as a cap to hold moisture and nutrients within the beds. And it's also a lot less work than having to dig it in. I've started the process of getting this bed ready for its annual mulch, and I've done that by first removing any of the plants and weeds that I had growing in here before that I don't want growing this year. And that also includes all of these self-seeded calendula flowers. I've saved some of them, which I'll be planting down in the larger garden, and the rest of these I have hoed off using my Dutch hoe, and I'm leaving them to dry out a bit before I put the mulch on. In contrast, I have already prepared this bed. That means weeding it, watering it really well, and then I put 2 wheelbarrow loads of compost on top. The compost I'm using is quite a thick stuff. It's made up of horse manure and wood chip, and it is really well composted. It doesn't smell at all, but it is a bit of a crusty mix. And so what I'm going to be needing to do when I plant and sow seeds into this is to dig down, find the soil underneath, and then plant or sow seeds into that. And then the plants will grow up and out. There are a few things that you need to consider when you are planting crops for a relatively small garden or a single raised bed like this. You want more bang for your buck, in my opinion. The easiest thing would be to plant a crop that needs lots of space, like a pumpkin. One pumpkin right in the middle, done. Leave it for the summer, and then at the end of the year, at the end of the summer, you harvest the pumpkins. But you only get one crop that way. Same goes if you put in sweet corn or something else like that that takes up lots of space and needs a long growing period. If you instead focus on crops that are maybe dwarf varieties, so very compact, ones that harvest relatively quickly, and just ones in general that take up less space or take up vertical space, you are going to get so much more. That means that you can plant a variety of different crops and come out here and harvest a little bit and often. And that is what I want to do with this space, and that I think is the better approach to growing with raised beds like this. Now here in this bed, I have laid out the things that I want to grow, and I tend to do this to help visualize the spacing, the placement, move things around, and then it's only when I'm ready and I think that this is a good plan, it's only then that I start planting. This is a good technique for when you're just starting off planting a bed, especially in spring like this. Down here at the end, I have a pea, and it is a dwarfing pea, so it will only grow about 1 meter tall. And I've grown it in a gutter. I also have some perennials, including this red vein sorrel. On the other corner, I've got Welsh onions, which I started from seed this year. Think of them like extra large chives, and you can use them as chives or you can use them as spring onions. If you just cut the greens, they'll keep growing back. I also have decided I'm going to sow some salad onions. So these are also known as scallions or green onions. And with these, you dig up the bulb. It's just a single annual harvest. And then I've got chard, some lettuce seeds as well, and carrots for the center. Now carrots, they don't like growing, well, they do like growing in soil that has had muck dug into them. If you dig your muck or your compost into the soil, the roots will fork trying to find all of those pockets of nutrients. But if you just mulch the surface, you can pull it apart, sow carrot seeds, and they will not fork, or very few of them will fork. And so that's another added benefit of mulching rather than digging in. As I'm planting up this bed, I'm thinking about 3 main themes. The first being succession sowing, ensuring that not all the crops harvest at once. And that's why there's a mixture of seeds and seedlings that are going in with this very first planting. The next is about reach. Towards the middle of the bed, I can still reach in, but it's a little bit more challenging. So I'm going to put crops that I might not necessarily harvest as often, more towards the middle, or crops that I want to protect a bit more, like these carrots. I'm also thinking about spacing. In a traditional in-ground vegetable bed out in the garden, you might want rows to walk in between, and you don't do that in a raised bed. So the spacing that I'm considering is how much each one of these crops will grow, and just giving them enough space to fill that area without leaving too much of a gap. This bed is pretty intensively planted and sown, and I've used these bamboo sticks just to show where I've put in some seeds just until they start germinating. And again, my compost here, this is quite thick stuff, so I have pulled it back and I've sown seeds in, and I've actually used some finer grade compost to put on the top here just to make sure that when those seeds germinate, they can push through easily. The compost that you use might be very fine and you don't have to do this, but I guess a benefit to doing this is that it creates these little gullies that helps to divert rainwater and moisture inside. And then of course, all of the compost around there will leach nutrients into the soil as the spring and summer progresses. The last thing that I'm going to do after giving this a good watering in is to lay this mesh over the bed. This is a type of carrot fly mesh, so it will keep carrot flies off the carrots growing in the center, so it's going to stay on them right through the summer. But also in these early stages when it's just a bare bed pretty much, it will also help to keep cats and dogs out. So I'm going to lay this on the bed and then carry on watering and tending this, and the first crops to come out of this will be these seedlings that I've put in first. So the next time that we revisit this small garden space, we'll see how everything is doing here, and we're also going to plant up the other bed because there are even more crops that we can grow in a small space that will produce a big yields and give us bang for buck with these smaller raised beds and smaller garden spaces. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and check out some more of my other videos. I have one on sowing seeds in modules and gutters to help save space and to get a head start on spring. And I talk about the benefits of that as well, so you might want to check that out. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you then in the next video. Bye for now.